Isaiah 29. Now, Isaiah 29 is probably not a text that immediately would spring to your mind as having anything whatsoever, particularly to do with Messianic prophecy. But if we read in verse 10, first of all, this prophecy in Isaiah 29 is addressed to woe to Ariel, the city where David dwelt. Ariel means Lion of El, and was a sort of a nickname for Jerusalem. So it's addressed to Jerusalem, essentially to Judah. Okay? And in verse 10 it says, "For Yahweh has poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and has closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers, and the seers has he covered. And the visions of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray you. And he says, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, and saying, Read this, I pray you. And he says, I'm not learned. Verse 14, just kind of skipping on through here. Verse 14 refers to a marvelous work, even a marvelous work and a wonder. And then we get down to verse 18. It says, In that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book. What book? Is it this book that is sealed? In that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. Now here we have a prophecy that basically says that Judah, as a whole, overall, typically, is not able to see something in this book. Can you see that? The man that's literate or that's learned can't see it because it's sealed. The man that's illiterate can't see it because he can't read. But verse 18 tells us that in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of all the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. So it would seem to say then that at some point in time, that information would become unsealed, that they would comprehend that information, and when that happened, this blindness would end, wouldn't it? And that would be, we have a sort of an apostasy and then a restoration, a falling away and then a coming back. Okay? Now, same thing talked about in Torah and Deuteronomy 28 and 29 and Leviticus 26. If the people would keep the Torah, there'd be blessings. If they didn't keep the Torah, there'd be curses. Which one did we do? Anybody know? We didn't keep the Torah, did we? What happened? Babylonian invasion 600. Okay? Has the curse of Leviticus 26 and Deuteronomy 28 and 29 ended? Well, we're going to talk about that, but the answer is no. It was 70 years, but there's more to it than that. Okay? It hasn't ended. So what's going on here is that we're told, hey, don't worry, there's going to be a restoration. Now, when we talk about the restoration of our people, Israel, what is that almost always tied to? Who is that almost always tied to? Mashiach. Okay? So maybe, not for sure, but just maybe, this might have something to do with Mashiach. Okay.